Dark skies over Gaza City, markets, schools, entire districts reduced to rubble. Israel calls up tens of thousands of reservists for a new offensive, even as dissent grows within its own ranks. And abroad, warnings mount. A Gaza City invasion could be catastrophic. The war nears its second year, but will this escalation deliver victory or unleash an even deadlier storm? Israel is preparing for a major escalation in Gaza City, with the military mobilizing tens of thousands of reservists while renewing evacuation calls to civilians still trapped in the north. The move comes as Israeli ground and air forces intensify operations in Zeitoun and Shijaiyah, districts now described by the army as dangerous combat zones. Once Gaza City's largest residential hub, Zeitoun has been devastated. Markets and schools reduced to rubble, streets deserted, and whole blocks flattened. Israel maintains Hamas's political and military command remains entrenched beneath Gaza City, protected by a tunnel network that has withstood repeated strikes during the nearly two-year war. The offensive deepens an already dire humanitarian crisis. Hundreds of thousands remain in Gaza City facing famine and relentless bombardment. Local hospitals report at least 47 deaths across the Strip on September 2nd alone. Shifa Hospital received 26 bodies that day, while overnight airstrikes in Tel Al-Hawa killed 15, including 3 children. Sana Drimley, a survivor of one of those strikes, told the Associated Press.
"We were sleeping safe and sound in our home, and then we suddenly woke up to the sound of banging and rising smoke. We woke up to see what happened to us and checked in on our children and discovered that everyone around us is dead."
Further south, hospitals in Khan Yunis and Nuseirat reported at least 22 deaths from airstrikes and gunfire near aid distribution sites, where desperate civilians had gathered. Gaza's health ministry says more than 2,300 people seeking food aid have been killed in recent months. Inside Israel, the military's mobilization order is stirring controversy. At least 60,000 reservists will be gradually called up, with service extended for a further 20,000 already on duty. But a growing number are openly refusing to participate. Reports indicate widespread dissatisfaction among reservists, many refusing new rotations due to exhaustion, trauma, and distrust of government aims. Haaretz noted the military plans to obscure recruitment numbers and manipulate data to minimize apparent absenteeism. On September 2nd, hundreds of reservists gathered in Tel Aviv to denounce the government's Gaza City plan. They say it is illegal, dangerous, and politically motivated. Sergeant First Class Max Kresh, a combat medic who fought on October 7th, addressed the press.
"We are over 365 and counting soldiers who served during the war and have declared that we will not report for duty when called again. We refuse to take part in Netanyahu's illegal war, and we see it as a patriotic duty to refuse and demand accountability from our leaders."
Reservist Captain Ron Finer, who served 270 days during the war, branded the decision unlawful.
"The decision to occupy Gaza will always be at the risk of the hostages, soldiers, and citizens. It was given by a messianic government with no public legitimacy that is only interested in its own political survival."
The dissent is being closely watched by hostage families, many of whom have spoken against further escalation. Critics argue that an expanded invasion risks prolonging the conflict without delivering decisive results. Still, Israel's military leadership continues to push ahead. On September 2nd, it unveiled expanded logistical support for mobilized units, including air-conditioned staging areas, water and power supplies, and forward-positioned repair teams for armoured vehicles. The Manpower Directorate also pledged assistance for reservists' families. Beyond Israel, regional voices are amplifying alarm over the looming assault. Qatar, which has acted as a mediator in past ceasefire and hostage negotiations, warned that seizing Gaza City could have catastrophic consequences. Qatari Foreign Ministry spokesman Majed Al-Ansari said at a press conference,
"The dangerous step Israel is taking, invading Gaza City, given the dense population and the worsening humanitarian situation, will cause the deaths of hundreds of civilians. It will endanger everybody, including the hostages."
He also condemned Israel for stalling in ceasefire talks, telling reporters,
"All the efforts to get the negotiations moving have run into a lack of cooperation from Israel. So far, there has been no answer from Israel to the latest proposal. And to get to an agreement of one kind or another, there must be readiness from Israel for an agreement."
In an interview with the Times of Israel, he cautioned further.
"The occupation of Gaza City, which will have catastrophic humanitarian results, is not going to push any side toward a deal. We told the Israelis that they are putting their hostages, their people, at risk without having a strategic view of what they want to do."
Elsewhere, Palestinian Vice President Hussein al-Sheikh held a call with Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Vershinin. According to Ramallah, the two discussed Israel's settlement expansion, attacks by settlers in the West Bank, and Tel Aviv's withholding of Palestinian tax revenues. They also criticized Washington's decision to deny visas to Palestinian officials scheduled to attend the UN General Assembly. Meanwhile, Gaza's humanitarian toll continues to mount. Last month alone, Gaza's health ministry recorded 185 malnutrition-related deaths, the highest in months as famine grips Gaza City. The ministry, staffed by medical professionals though operating under Hamas rule, reports 63,633 Palestinians killed since the start of the war and more than 160,000 wounded. It says women and children make up around half of those killed. Israel disputes those figures but has not offered its own tally. The war began when Hamas-led militants launched their October 7, 2023 attack on southern Israel, killing 1,200 people and taking 251 hostages. Today, Israel believes about 20 hostages remain alive in Gaza. As the IDF prepares to push deeper into Gaza City, the stakes are clear. A war nearing its second year, a besieged civilian population, and political divisions inside Israel and across the region. The question now is whether escalation will bring Israel closer to its goals or drive the conflict into even deadlier and more uncertain territory.